Waco Tactical Fitness, as you may guess, is located near Waco, Texas, and this course is one of the very few that are similar year after year, which is fun because you can actually see how well you have improved, which is something that you really can't do with other courses since there's so much variety. And Pseudo has a video of this course as well, and his content's absolutely excellent. I'll put a link down below. The course itself is 5.5 miles, making it pretty typical in length. What is not typical is its variety of the terrain, the shooting, the obstacles, just an absolutely fantastic and fun course. To get to the first stage, we have a 1.5 mile run, mostly along roads. Stage 1 has pretty normal pistol shooting, but it has this tire at the beginning, this tire wall at the beginning. So once you get over that tire wall, there's 2 targets out there. They're Mozambique style, which is a body and a head, and you have to hit the body section twice and the head section once from each of the positions. And then the very last position, you also have a far target out there, and then that is what finishes your time. You might have noticed those sweet socks. That's actually a combination of I had surgery on one of my legs just recently, as well as knowing that there was going to be water, so I didn't want pants. Generally, I recommend pants though for most all of these running guns.
How's the body? We need the head.
Running guns commonly have a lot of shots. With pistol, about 20 to 40 yards. A lot of them are within that range. I sight my pistol into about 20 yards, and that works pretty good out to roughly 50 yards. Often pistol stages have a lot of movement, and your ability to reload while you're on the move can save you a free 2 seconds.
Mozambique first.
Oh.
Head. 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 Head.
The path from stage 1 to stage 2 is on a pretty easy path, and it's about 1/2 mile.
Are you ready? Oh.
Stage 2 begins with the tire flip. You move to the first position where you shoot with both hands. You move to the second position where you shoot with your weak hand, and the final position you shoot with your strong hand. But while you're shooting with your weak and your strong hand, you are holding a weight.
Hit. 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 Hit.
Is that it?
One more on each of those. Hit. 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 Got it. We can.
If you follow the channel, you're seeing a theme of my weak hand one-handed pistol shooting is pretty bad. And in this case, I squeezed the mag release and dropped the magazine right in the middle of the stage.
One more in the small one. Hit. And on the Mozambique. Mozambique to the left.
Your luck.
Yep. Hit. Hit.
I butchered this whole thing.
Hit. Got it. Strong hand. Hit. 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 And to the, yeah. Hit. Hit. 7.
And now we have about another mile to travel, half of which is in a creek bed, which we have to climb down into and out of.
All right.
Now that our feet are wet, I might as well bring up the footwear. The most common thing that people wear are some sort of trail runners. My favorite is the Hoka Speed Goat. Also, this is my foot. The night before we ended up doing this, so taking care of your feet on these long trails, especially when it can get wet, very important.
Well, it was right there in the name. WTF.
People will ask, how do you get ready for the running guns? And the short answer is get out there and run a 5K. Do that twice throughout the week, 3 times throughout the week. Go do a few sprints. Do that 2 or 3 times a week. And as long as you're able to sustain an elevated heart rate, the courses are often broken up enough where you're going to be just fine. Part two to that question is, well, what equipment can I use? And to my answer would be whatever 9mm you have, whatever 5.56 you have, get out there and use it. And once you use it 2 or 3 times, you will quickly figure out what do I like and not like and can adjust from there. Stage 3 starts with engaging the pistol targets directly in front of you and advancing to the first vehicle. From there, you're engaging targets that are in or around the vehicles that are out in the field. You keep advancing to the next vehicle while carrying your heavy bag. Your final shot is from the van, and it is a distance shot.
As soon as they clear.
Are people like ducking this thing?
Yes.
As long as you stay in
As
the
long
box.
as you keep your feet in there, you can get to their position.
Yep.
All right, shoot ready.
Ready.
Stand by. Fire. Hit. 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 Move up. Red window.
This one was less than impressive for me. The targets that are in and around the cars were really tricky to see, and not being familiar with that, I've never shot like this. So the familiarity with the course, those that have done it in the years past, definitely had an advantage on this one, and it really talks to getting out there and practicing and seeing these different scenarios.
Hit. There's still one in the front window there.
Right there by the windshield.
There we are.
Yeah.
Hit. Hit. Safe. Grab the bag. Shoot to the bird. Fire from the wheel well. Wheel well. Wheel well.
Rarely in these events are the targets out in some well-defined high contrast environment. They are often either colored where they're a little bit subdued, or they're small, or they're behind something, and the typical red dot without any magnification is really going to struggle. I highly recommend some sort of magnification, and it doesn't matter if it's a 1:6, a 1:8, a 2:12, some sort of magnification is pretty much required for these events.
Hit. Hit. Front window, right car. Front window.
Also, for many of these running guns, the whole environment is in play. So I had just drug a big old bag all this way, and I should have thrown it up on the roof of the car and used it to be able to get a better stabilized shot.
Hit. Hit. Weapon on safe. Grab the bag. Into the back. Now shoot all the way up to the front.
Yeah, go all the way to the dash.
2 red targets down the lane. Hit. 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 Good deal. Yes.
Perfect.
To get from stage 3 to stage 4 was a quick run across the field where you had to jump over these little barriers and then up to the tower. When shooting from the tower on stage 4, there were targets, I believe, from 200 to about 600 yards. As you can tell by the flag, it is windy, and usually I do pretty well on distance stages even if it's windy. However, today kind of kicked my butt. For those that are wondering about how to set up your scope, I'll give you what I do, and I don't know if it's the right thing or not, but I usually use about a 50-yard zero, and that means out to about 200 yards, I'm dead on. And then for the ammo that I use and my barrel length, it's roughly a 1mm drop for 300, a 2mm drop for 400, a 3mm drop for 500, and then 600 is about 4.5. And that setup is pretty common. I use a 1:8 LPVO, and I'm looking at maybe doing a 2:12. I know people that do really well that use a 1:6, people that do really well that use a 1:10. Some people use a 3:18. I don't think it matters a whole lot as long as you are really comfortable with using it. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. The tricky part about this one is you had to shoot all the targets from 200 to 600 yards and then switch to your weak hand and do it all again. So from there, we have about a half-mile run to an axe throwing bonus round, which was really neat. It put you in a drawing for a prize at the end of the day.
There you go. There you go. Nicely done, man. Is that, I mean,
From here until the rest of the shooting stages, all the obstacles and shooting stages are just a few hundred yards from each other.
okay. All right. Shooter ready?
I guess so.
Stand by.
Stage 5 puts you in a really awkward position. There's a wobbly ladder made out of branches, and there's really nothing to get you really stabilized. What I ended up realizing through part of this is that if I stood on one side of the ladder, wedged my gun into one of the corners on the other side, and leaned real hard, that gave me the most stable shooting position. And I was able to make a lot faster hits from there.
Very close.
This stage was sponsored by Project Appleseed, and they modeled it after Timothy Murphy. He shot a general at the Revolutionary War. He did it by climbing up into a tree and taking a 300-yard shot, which lines up with how far these targets are, roughly 250, 350 yards.
Ceasefire, unload and clear.
Next step is the wall that we need to climb up and over, and repeatedly we are reminded that slim gear and stuff that sits close to your body, where you don't have too bulky of a chest rig, too big of a belt, really helps you be able to maneuver with whether you're getting in and out of cars with shooting, or whether you're trying to get over a wall or through a tunnel. Thin gear.
Carefully.
While the monkey bars are easy, even with the extra weight on there, keep in mind that we are over 4 miles in at this point, so people are definitely getting fatigued by now. This next stage, you start from within a car and you engage a handful of pistol targets. You get out of the car, you engage them again one more time, go to the trunk, grab your rifle, and then from 5 different positions, engage this target out here by the van. When engaging with the pistol within any confined space, use the space around you, whether you're leaning against it or resting your arms on it. To be able to get that extra stabilization with the pistol really helps speed things up and makes you more accurate. Same thing goes for after you get out. So leaning on the vehicle again will help you get a lot more speed and stability for those further out pistol shots. On this stage, the difficulty began after you got into the trunk and grabbed your rifle. The target out there, I believe, is about 200 yards, but it has a very small target and a weight backing that prevented you from being able to call your misses at all. So if you missed by just an inch, you had no idea you missed it by just an inch. If you missed it by 5 inches, you had no idea you missed it by just 5 inches. So the difficulty of not knowing where your impacts are meant that you couldn't make any adjustments. So you had to be spot on or else you weren't going to complete this. And that's also what led to a 61% DNF rate on this stage. I don't know whether it hurt or helped, but I slowed down a little bit to try making sure that every shot count. I was running really low on ammo at this stage, and I wasn't sure how many rounds I was going to need at the next stage.
Hit. 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 Hit.
The final stage was all rifle and required you to climb up this netting and then shoot through 4 positions in the chicken coop type thing. The positioning got a little bit more awkward each time, and there was 1 target at each of the tires that you had to hit from each of the 4 positions.
We're ready.
Stand by. Go.
Very good.
Alright, good luck. Hit! 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 Hit!
The final position was so low that you had to cant your rifle 90 degrees and then basically put your forehead to the ground in order to be able to shoot through.
Hit! 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 Time 136.
This final shooting stage really wasn't a stage, it was more of an obstacle where you had to shoot a target with your pistol, I'm going to say just under 100 yards out.
Yeah, I'll be
And
down
if
there.
you missed, you had to do an extra
Sorry?
tire
Yeah,
flip
it's
and
on your own
loop.
time.
And then if you missed again, you had to go even further. And there's always lots of discussion about what pistol is the best, and of course staccatos are great. And I'm not the greatest pistol shooter, but this, I'm going to say roughly 90-yard pistol shot is basically a fancy Glock
Unload, make
19.
clear.
So there really isn't a need
You're the first
to
person I've seen
worry
make it
about
top five
having a
today.
nice enough pistol as much
Everyone
as it
else
is being able to
tried
use your
and
pistol.
clear. Ha! You're not the first person to hit it today, but off the tire.
Oh, whatever. Make me feel good.
Then we have this fun rope climb and zip line item, and the rest of the trip home is about another mile to complete your 5.5 mile trek. I'd really like your feedback, what you like, what you don't like, what I can emphasize more on, what I talk about that I shouldn't be. If you got any great ideas to make these videos even more fun, please let me know in the comments. And thank you.